Hello, soulmates. You're all welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So we're going to be learning how to make a bustier dress, and we're also going to be learning how to attach a peplum sleeve to it. If you're interested in this one, please join me while we get started. So as you can see on the paper, I've tried to draw a horizontal line at the top and a vertical line at the side is going to serve as our guide. So the horizontal line at the top is our starting line, which is going to be our shoulder line. And from there, I marked my shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and the shoulder to the waist for the front piece. So after marking this, I'm going to draw straight lines around there, and I'm going to also label it. So I'm working with a shoulder to bust of 12.5, shoulder to under bust of 16 inches, and shoulder to the waist of 18 inches for the front. Okay, so after doing that, I'm just going to draw these lines as you can see, and I'm going to label them. Okay, so after labeling them, I'm going to come to the starting line at the top, which is also the shoulder line. I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7.5. Okay, shoulder measurement is 15 inches divided by 2 is 7.5. From that point, I am going to mark 9.5 inches, which is the bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. Then I added 1 inch. Okay, so bust circumference divided by 6 gave me plus 1.5 gave me 8.5 plus 1 inch, that's 9.5. So from that point where I mark my shoulder measurement, I'm going to come down from that 1 inch I added. Okay, then I'm going to mark a neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 3 inches, just like I'm doing. Then from that point where I mark neck width of 3 inches, I'm going to connect it to the 1 inch I came down below the shoulder measurement. Then I'm going to use my curve to connect the neck, which is the 3 inches width and 3 inches depth, with a curve, and I'm going to connect it like this. Although I'm going to be making this bustier like off shoulder, or like a two bustier rather, so might not really be needing the neck. Okay, but I'm doing it because I want to also make use of it later on. So now I went ahead to mark the shoulder measure, the bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. As you can see, I marked it there. Then I took the midpoint of this line, which I drew from that 1 inch slope of the shoulder to meet the chest line. I took the midpoint. From that midpoint, I came in by half of an inch, and I'm connecting it with my ruler, as you can see. So I'm trying to place my curve well in a way that it's going to connect them together. So you're going to make sure that you connect it from the slope to the 0.5 inches you came in, and then from that point you're going to connect it to meet the point where you mark your bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line. So as you can see, I made use of my French curve to give me a good curve. Okay, so ensure you use a curve ruler to get this straight and accurate. Okay, so after connecting the curve, I'm going to take my nipple to nipple measurement and divide it by 2, which is going to give me my bust span of 4 inches. So nipple to nipple is 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4 inches, and I'm going to mark them from the bust to the waist and connect it with a straight line. Okay, so after connecting it with this line, I'm going to come towards the waist where I mark that straight line, and I'm going to mark 0.75 on both sides, which is my waist dart. So after marking that, I'm going to connect it together. So I'll use my marker pen to make this visible for us to see. Okay, so after connecting them with my marker pen, I'm going to tighten the under bust. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 inches to tighten the under bust, but you can use 2.5 inches if you're working with someone that is a bit busty. That is, the bust circumference I'm using is 43 here. If you are working with someone that is like 45 and above, you can use 2.5. So I just shared it into 2 equal parts, and from the under bust line I mark 1 inch on both sides. Okay, so I connected the 1 inch to meet with the waist dart, as you can see. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. I marked 1 inch on both sides from the nipple to nipple line we marked earlier, and that was how I got this. Okay, so I went ahead to connect them. Now for us to connect this to the bust point, you're going to make sure that you place your curve in a way that it comes down from that bust line with about 0.75 or 1 inch. This is because you don't want to make that place to be too sharp. Okay, so place your curve in a way that it's not going to be too sharp. Okay, so after connecting it together, this is what I have. Mind you, you can also decide to make the center front of your underbust tightening to be half of an inch or 0.75, while the other part is bigger. Okay, so now I'm going to divide the shoulder slope into two equal parts, and from that center point I'm going to connect it to the bust point, as you can see me do right now. So after connecting them together, I'm going to take my over bust measurement from my chest line. I'm going to come up a bit. So I actually measured my over bust as 7 inches for my client, and I realized it's just 2.5 inches above the chest line. So I went ahead to mark 2.5 inches above the chest line, and I'm going to connect it with a temporary line like this. This is going to serve as a guide so that we can be able to take our dart there. So after connecting it like this, I'm going to take a dart of about 1 inch on both sides. Okay, so if you're not so busty, please just go ahead and use 0.75 or even half of an inch. I'm using 1 inch because I'm working with a client that is very busty. Okay, and I'm trying to make sure I tighten that part very well so that there will be no form of gaping around the over bust. So now I'm trying to ensure that the lines are equal, so that's why I'm taking this measurement, as you can see, just to ensure that my dart lines are equal. And if you notice that there is any form of excess, ensure that you use your marker pen or your pencil to add it up and connect it, just like you can see me do. Okay, so after that, now we are going to go ahead and connect them together. So that tightening that we have there, you can see that on the chest line there's a dart intake there, which we are going to be adding back when we are repeating our body measurement. So now from this center front side, you're going to work from the chest line. Okay, I'm going to come in by 0.25 rather, and I'm going to be connecting it to this first dart leg at the over bust like this. This is, I'm using a free hand to do this, but you can use your curve to achieve this, so to get something smooth. So this is because the Queen Anne neck design actually had a small curve at that center. Okay, so I don't want to just connect it directly. That's why I came in by 0.25 rather. You can come in by half of an inch, whichever one works for you. Okay, mind you, for this style, like I said, I'm going to making it like a tube bustier, not really like an off-shoulder tube. Okay, then I'm going to attach my sleeve later to it. You can do this like this, or you can just go ahead and do it in the way you do your off-shoulder bustier. Okay, so as you can see, I've connected that part to meet the armhole on the chest line, and I added the dart intake of that part to the chest line, as you can see. So I repeated the underbust measurement divided by 2, which I'm working with 39. I divided it by 2, marked it there, and I took the dart allowance, which is 2 inches there, and I added it as well. So for the waist, I'm also working with a waist measurement of 39 inches, and I took the 1.5 inches there, and I added it. Remember that after marking your bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line, you're going to take that dart allowance that you have there and connect it together. Okay, so after doing that, I just went ahead to connect it. Mind you, if you're working with someone that is quite busty, you might have a funny shape on your pattern. Do not mind. Okay, you're still going to get it right. So now I came down from the bust line by 2 inches, which is the difference between my shoulder to waist for the front and shoulder to waist at the back. Okay, and I'm connecting it to meet the bust point. Okay, you can see I'm trying to indicate the areas that we are going to be taking off. So that is the side dart or the bust dart, and the shoulder to waist in front is 18, shoulder to waist at the back is 16 inches. Okay, so the difference is 2, and that's why I used 2 inches there. So I went ahead to cut my pattern so that I can be able to close my bust dart. Okay, I can be able to close my bust dart, so I'll just take my time to close the bust dart like this. So you can also cut your waist dart, you can slash it open for you to be able to do this, but I'm not going to do that now. So now when you close it, you can see that the lines are not aligned, so I connected it again from the chest line to the underbust for it to align well, for us to have a straight line there. So just go ahead and do that. Okay, so now I'm going to spread it open back, and at this point, as you can see, we already have our bustier ready. Okay, so for this part, I'm just using this pen to close it because I want to keep that yoke part, which I'm going to be using later. Okay, I'm going to be using it later to get my strip for the dress. So now I want you to take note of this point where we have our dot. As you can see, I came in a little bit, like about 0.25. Okay, I came in a little bit about 0.25, and I'm connecting them to meet each other. So note that it's no longer at the center, okay, where the point meets, because I noticed that that point is sharp and I do not want that on my pattern, because it's going to make my dress look funny. So I came in from that point by 0.25 and I connected it with my curve. So just go ahead and do that before you start cutting. Okay, so soulmate, if you're finding this tutorial very helpful, do not hesitate to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, leave your notification bell turned on so that you can be notified whenever we upload new videos. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to leave it in the comment section. Okay, so this part is going to be our yoke. Okay, I'm going to just keep it aside because I'll be making use of it later. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and label the patterns. As you can see, they are all aligning well. So our online class is ongoing. For those of you that want to register for our Bustier class or our corset class, our class is ongoing. If you're interested, send a message to the number displayed on the screen. Okay, so now this is the back pattern, and as you can see, I left 1.5 inches for the margin at that center back, and I went ahead to draw my starting line at the top, my chest line, my bust line, and my waist. So my shoulder to waist for the back is 16 inches, like I said. Okay, so as you can see, I just marked my neck depth of 1.5 inches. Remember, I used a neck depth of 3 inches for the front. Here I'm using a neck depth of 1.5 inches. Okay, although like I said, we are doing a two bustier, but I am going to be making use of this yoke part later for my strip. So just follow the same process for the front and you will get how to get your armhole. Okay, so after doing that, I went ahead to mark 0.75 on the waistline from the center back. So mind you that 1.5 inches I marked earlier for the margin before the straight line for our center back is for our zipper allowance, and this 0.5 inches I'm marking right now and connecting towards the chest line is to help us avoid zipper bulge. I also went ahead to mark 0.75 from that center back line, as you saw there, and I'll be making use of it soon. So now I'm marking my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 4 inches, and I'm connecting it from the chest line to the waistline. I marked 0.75 for the dart on both sides of the dart line I took from the waist area, and I'm connecting it together to meet the chest line like this, as you can see. So now I'm gonna have to take the waist dart here, and now I'm going to impute the body measurement, dividing them by 4. I just went ahead to impute it, and for the waist I made sure I added the dart allowance I took here. I went ahead to add it, and I also went ahead to add the 0.75 I came in from that center back. I added it as well. So mind you, if you want your bustier to be really snatched, you do not have to add it. Okay, it will still snatch you well and fit properly, but my client do not want something that is too fitted. My client wants something that is going to be free, so that's why I'm going to add it back. Okay, like I said, do not mind the shape, just go ahead and take the measurements accurately. Now remember that 0.75 I marked earlier from that center back above. I'm going to connect it to meet the waist side, okay, as you can see. So now I'm going to be taking that part off. Okay, I'm going to be taking it off. This is going to help our dress to relax well and also help to avoid zipper bulge. Mind you, if you are using a dart of 0.5 inches on both sides, please do not use 0.75, just use half of an inch, which you used. Okay, I'm using 0.75 because the dart intake I took was 0.75. Now because my dart leg has already been crossed, of course there will be a shortage on one side, so I'm going to take the measurement I have on one side, that is the longer part, and place it on the shorter part and go ahead and mark the extension of what I have there, then connect it together. It's just a very little extension. Okay, so just go ahead and do that, and now I'm using my ruler to connect it well so that when I'm cutting it I'll have a straight line, and when I'm joining it, it's going to be straight as well. So now I'm going to be leaving my bustier at that chest line. Whatever design you want to use for the back, go ahead and do it, but I'm going to leave it straight at that chest line. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to be marking my zipper allowance of 1 inch, and I'm starting with the new line I marked when I marked my 0.75. As you can see, I am marking it from that new line, meaning that the line is no longer going to be straight. It's going to be having that slant shape because I'm following it. This is going to help avoid zipper bulge. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm doing. Just follow what I'm doing, you get it right. So now I'm going to connect them together, and after that I'm obviously done with this part. You can go ahead and label the parts of the pattern, then you go ahead and cut it out. I hope you're finding this very helpful. If you do, please do not hesitate to give us a thumbs up, and if you're interested in our online class, please do not hesitate to send us a message on our WhatsApp. Okay, so may take your time to cut it out following the process. Okay, as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut the back, and as you can see, it's also aligning well. So at this point, I'm just going to label it center back and side back. Okay, so go ahead and do the same, and note that when you're cutting this on your pattern, you're going to be cutting 2 pieces each, and for the center front, you're going to be cutting it on a fold. So remember the back yoke as well. I'm going to keep it aside because I'll be using it later. Okay, so do not take it off. So for the off shoulder part, like I said, I did not cut it with the off shoulder. I just cut it like a 2 bustier. If you want to make yours off shoulder, go ahead. Where we marked 2.5 inches from the front, you can just go ahead and draw a straight line at that point, and then connect it through the armhole from that point. Okay, that is for you to cut your back. So instead of cutting it from your chest line, you're just going to cut it from that armhole where you connect the line. Okay, so it's up to you depending on what you want to achieve, and you can also decide to come from the chest line, maybe come down by 1.5 and just connect it together, and then it depends on the design you want to achieve. Okay, but for this client, this is what my clients want, and this is what I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to also be attaching the sleeve to it later on. So just go ahead and do it according to what you want to achieve. Okay, so if you also want to follow my way, you can still follow it. It will still come out nice. So this is the material we are going to be using for this is the African print that I'm going to be using. This is the lining pieces. This is zipper, which I'll be using for the back. This is wording, and this is SD. Okay, so if there's anything I'll be using else, I'll be showing us during the sewing. Okay, because the video is long, we're going to be having the sewing tutorial later. I'll be posting it later for us. Okay, so I'm going to have to transfer it to my fabric and my pattern. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Please stay tuned and leave your notification bell turned on so that when I upload the sewing part of this tutorial, you'll be aware. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.